of those picks banned away as of yet.
Ziggs Ezreal. There's also Cassiopeia that is on the table, something both of these mid laners have played thus far, and has been one of Care's better looks in the middle lane as well. Given the fact that Orianna and now Jarvan are both gone, two champions that you really don't want to be seeing on the enemy team as Cassio, might end up just getting a basic Ryze Cassio matchup in the mid. We'll have to see what ends up happening and where IG want to send this last ban.
So this would be interesting because they do ban the Ezreal, which seems to be setting up for a Ziggs. Don't see that too frequently from Photic. He played it once earlier in the year. Has not played it yet this split. And the Qiyana ban going to give that opportunity over to NIP. If they want Ziggs, they can have it. But they're going to take the Cassiopeia instead.
Okay, now where do we want to go? Do we lean heavier into the mages? Syndra's currently available. The Seraphine is available. That was something we saw from Awesome already this split. The Ziggs, like you said. There's plenty of options, and it is just about how IG want to shape their draft. With so many AD junglers currently banned, does mean a few of the remaining ones, like Trundle, need to have your eyes kept on them. Does also make it harder to play tanks in the top side if Trundle is in the draft. I mean, you expect to see a Milio paired with it. You don't need to do it here, but that is what you're expecting to see in the first rotation. So by snapping up a jungler, one of the few remaining AD junglers left here, that does tell NIP exactly what is going to get picked. The Trundle is still open as mentioned, and is one of the favourite retorts into AD junglers, because you could just siphon that stuff and tear them apart. Okay!
Wow. That's an insta-lock Olaf from Hoya. Presumably from Hoya. I suppose we could still see some shenanigans, but seems very likely
that would need to be
that
crazy.
It's going to be going up towards the top side. You know, could be Olaf jungle Trundle top if you really, if that really floats your boat, but not something we get to see too much of either of those swaps in today's League of Legends. The Melio, as you said, kind of a foregone conclusion here once that Lucian was locked in. So bot lane dominance going to be looked for from IG. And a blind Olaf. I mean, they get to ban to defend it, but I'm very curious to see what exactly TheShy going to end up playing into this.
I mean, they got rid of the Vayne on the first rotation as well, so they were already knocking away some of these things. I imagine the Gnar is going to get taken off the table here. Olaf is one of those things that we see occasionally locked into Jace, and we know that is something that TheShy has enjoyed bringing back this split so far, so we'll just have to see what they want to take off the table. Not 100% how they'd feel if it was a Yorick on the other side. It is something that could put them in the baby cage. Instead, ban away the Akali. That is a solution. More so for mid lane, typically. And actually just saying, right, it's TheShy, there's too many options. Maybe we just only ban away one of the most hated things as IG get to double down on taking out some of these bot laners. Do they remove a mage here? No, they instead opt for the Nautilus, not giving NIP the respect to play a mage in the bottom lane. Zyra Khan is on the table.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, it's not something that Photic has really gone for this year so far, or this split either. Even as the mage bot lanes start to grow in popularity. Looking at this Ryze, it's a bit of a self-counter pick for Rookie, but very well may choose to go for it anyway, just because of the value the pick brings with its scaling, with the Realm Warp, with the follow-up, with the Nocturne. They do take it, and yeah, they're going to say Cassiopeia or no, we're going to rock this Ryze.
Alright, it does have a lot of map mobility between that and the Nocturnal. It means playing side lanes for NIP. I truly don't know what the heck you could lock in here to make that doable, but you've basically got to forfeit that and say we're playing for the big 5 stack and you can have the side lanes. We could see potentially even something like the Nidalee come out from IG if they wanted to have something that's a bit safer, but called it, expected it. The Zyra Khan, Photic and Fengyue have looked damn good on it when they picked it up, been able to kill through Lucian Milio already against other teams. And we'll have to see if Awesome and Meiko can survive the pressure that these two are going to be putting on them in the lane phase. As now, what does TheShy fancy? It's a hen. It's a solution.
Right. Yeah, so it's a scaling pick. I guess I don't know if he picked it last year or not. I wonder if this is a career first for TheShy. Probably not. I'm guessing he played it at least once last year, but yeah, you could do a quick little lookup on that one. Either way, it's a first for him this year. Not that that's saying too much. He has played like 7 games this year.
Don't see it.
Yeah, let's take a quick.
Looks like it's his first Zehen.
All right, career first pick for TheShy on the Zehen. Let's see what it looks like.
I mean, I like the theory. I can't say I've seen this matchup, but as far as it goes, if you can stack up your Zehen passive while Olaf is in ult, you will be able to die and then revive while the Olaf ult runs out. So I like the theory behind it. We'll have to see how much of that actually comes to fruition. Also, the fact you can jump over walls is always a benefit against the Barbarian in the top lane. Gives you the ability to run away when you so wish, or run after him when they use the ultimate in an inopportune location. As far as how this comp is shaken out, IG definitely got the benefit if they can get to side lanes, but NIP want to stack up and run you over before they get a chance.
Yeah, certainly feels bad if you get set behind in top lane this game, perhaps even more so than in game number 1. So the game plan from NIP is again going to be to try to set up Hoya. Definitely want to make sure you're countering that as IG to avoid losing any value from this ahead. IG supporters remain out in force.
Nearly knocked me out of my chair there. I wasn't expecting such a loud gyro. There was like a moment of just waiting and then deafening screams of support.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you build a roster with some old school fan favorites like that. You definitely feel the support in the stadium. The laning phase will kick on off. Topside starts for both jugglers. Put them in a collision course for that bottom scuttler. Way gonna have to be a little bit concerned about that. Is Awesome getting engaged on in the bottom side and will be able to pick up the first blood up against Photic, but gets traded back by Fengyue.
Oof, taking the trade at level 1, not giving Xayah a chance to get that Blade Caller back in the lane. Really nice angle to equalize that. The fact that the ADC for IG got both the first blood and also got the kill is going to be quite significant for keeping the tempo in IG's favor. Let's now take a look at the map, and we have a pretty standard opening from both junglers, just full clearing. Nocturne not exactly known for getting a lot done early, so it's just going to be a race to that level 6 and seeing if anything of interest can happen, as Hoya opting to proxy.
Absolutely. Wants to clear out that wave with the axes as quickly as he can. And, yeah, just eat this one up against the Zehen. Knows he's not under too much pressure. His way panting down towards the bottom side. Could perhaps get a read on that one. Action in the bottom lane already, and the fact that the kill goes to Awesome versus Fengyue, huge win for IG.
Definitely not going to complain with that. Also, because Awesome died, he got to spend his golds. Fengyue didn't even get to leverage that. We do have Super Prio from IG off the back of that, so no way to contest this Scuttlecrab on the bottom side. We'll have Guwon sprint it across the map to try and match on the other half, though.
Now, Wei, down in the bottom side river, was able to clear out that scuttler. Does force Guwon over towards the other side. The perks of having a winning bottom side. Hoya still trying to aggress on TheShy, but did a good job of keeping his distance.
Just playing it slow. Have the grasp. You don't really want to be committing to those super long trades until you have the level 6 on both sides. Is TheShy happy to just kind of eat the pressure for now, knowing eventually he will get to play the Zehen champion and have a very balanced, I mean fun time in some of these fights.
Yeah, for sure. Wei, just getting back to his clear, wants to hit that level 6, and as long as this stays relatively uneventful for him in the early game, he's going to be plenty satisfied. They try to get into the fight for the bottom side once again. Fengyue going to have to dash back out. They will not lose too much HP for the effort, but you got to stay on your toes against this Lucian Melio at all times. Guwon finds his way into Rookie, face checks him there, and Rookie will be able to walk out of there with an expansion of the Ghost.
No more phase rush for these mages in the mid lane does mean you have to actually use the summoner commitment. At least he keeps the flash, which means he can match with care aggressively or defensively based on where the junglers are.
Close trade there from Rookie and Care. They are both going to stay in lane for the time being. The push in is successful from Rookie.
I'm not going to say a slow early game, because at least there was a bit of chaos on the bottom side. And now we get to see the junglers finally doing something, fighting for this Gromp to get themselves ahead on the jungle quest. If you can get yourself the biggest smite, then you can basically guarantee the first dragon in your favor as bot prio. There's not much for Guwon to do here.
Alright, let's see. They are going to be able to contest out of this scrub. Let's see who here comes on across. Guwon going to take a lot of damage. Way going to get turned back onto, though. Doesn't quite have the backup of Awesome and Meiko instantly. Cozy Campfire going to give Awesome that extra range, allowing him to return fire somewhat. It's all about that Gromp, baby. Who is going to be able to win the smite fight for him? Fengyue giving over vision. Flash forward. Guwon secures it. Doesn't take a level or anything. And Awesome going to be able to continue to fire away into him. Way falls to Photic. Awesome able to claim Guwon. Photic zoned off by Meiko as Awesome just continues to pump damage into Fengyue. Finds that kill. Photic trying to clean one back up. Getting spaced out here by Awesome. That kill goes to Rookie. Care arrives to the scene, but he's got to be careful. Stepping into 3 flashes. Trades with Meiko. Awesome dashing in. Trading kills back and forth. Double kill to Care. But Awesome gets the job done.
It is the roams of the mid laner that dictate the end of that play, and Care going to be very happy by the end of it. No flashes either side on mid, and with the dragon spawned, he has given his team a window to secure first Drake as Guwon goes in, gets the flash chomp smite. It's enough, and with Fengyue covering him on the knockup, buys enough time for Photic to secure the first kill. However, really excellently played from the IG bottom lane, leveraging this barrier. The exhaust had been used by Photic earlier on the play on that Gromp contest. And with Rookie coming in to secure, Care on 300 HP manages to go in and secure both of the bottom laners, ultimately falls and doesn't even give it over to his opposite number in the mid lane.
Yeah, so 4 kills to Awesome in total on his Lucian. He has been a force to be reckoned with on this pick all year long. And now off to a fantastic start, nearly 1,000 gold lead individually in his pocket. Once he starts getting out of these early item spikes, he is going to be a real threat in these mid-game skirmishes. Grubs spawning in about 30 seconds. And a fresh reset from Wei, level 6 for both junglers at this stage. Curious to see if both teams are going to arrive to the challenge.
That was a really good read from both teams right there. Wei sees that the dragon is being taken, knows that the counterplay is to go and deny a buff, and immediately NIP's top side collapsed to go hunting, but Wei was one step ahead, gets the recall like you say, and should be back on the map and ideally on the right side to contest these grubs, but it looks like IG are going to forfeit the purple buffs once again, as they didn't even get the first dragon this time around, but Awesome and Meiko should be able to tap down at least a plate or 2 of this bottom lane tower, not making the trip to go up there. I don't think we'll see a dive onto an Olaf. That seems a bit sketch,
no way,
considering he's got 3 biscuits, both summons and an ultimate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this might be a misallocation from IG.
Yeah, I get wanting to funnel the turret plates into Awesome here, but yeah, it is going to be difficult against repeated undertows, and I just don't think they have the damage before items are completed to be able to really force this Olaf out. So they get all 3 grubs, or at least appear that they will, and are able to just quickly shift Photic right back down to clear out the wave. It doesn't have too much of an impact on the overall gold difference, but you get some free grubbies out of it. I think NIP are probably pretty happy.
You know, it's about half of what I wanted to see. I did specifically ask that we see Guwon return to securing those early game objectives, particularly the dragons. However, bot lane has not been on the receiving end of that gold, so Meiko may just die here.
Meiko taking a blast cone that he may
a
not come back from, although, yeah, the pillar splits up the fight. That was a little bit of friendly fire from that Guwon pillar, as Meiko just walks it out.
I mean, it's one summoner down for a pillar, but it should have been a summoner and a kill for a pillar, so we'll call that one a whoopsie of daisies right there, and have to try and get something else done. It was awesome.
Look at that damage. They're going to try to turn it back. Fengyue dives in, pops the quickness, but there's a big heal coming through from Breath of Light, and Meiko going to be able to keep his bot laner alive. Flash forward from Awesome to claim Photic's life, and the warm hugs keep Awesome standing. A kill back to IG unanswered.
My shirt, my reputation. Awesome looking at the NIP ADC and taking them out in dramatic fashion, leveraging that first item completion over his opposite number. Will be rewarded with tower plates, and we do see the gold lead continue to grow for IG in this early game off the back of the bottom lane. Once again, they're just taking NIP's win conditions bit by bit.
Yeah, another really nice play in the 2 versus 2. Awesome playing up and aggressive and bold, even with a gold lead here. Love that Fengyue tries to turn this one back, but, you know,
look at the health bar.
Hell of a drug.
100 all the way up to 700 effective health off the back of the barrier, shield, and Breath of Light. And then this is just such a crazy damage check knowledge. Doesn't end up dying to the feathers. Again, with another one of those shields on Meiko, range support specialist, and by God is he making it work for his ADC this time around.
Yeah, and the call to continue to play around bottom lane paying off big time for IG here. TheShy doing just fine in the top lane.
Fight.
And yeah, it's time to plant the flag on that Gromp once again, and why not? I mean, Awesome is nearly 2,000 gold ahead individually. He has his Essence Reaver completed, plus an additional Zeal. He is so much stronger than Photic. You'll take any excuse you can to force NIP into tough decisions around Awesome.
And I think, more realistically, they're going to leverage that pressure to look at this Dragon on spawn, but we do have Rookie roaming down on the rise. He's currently off map. NIP are aware he is walking about and could be here any moment. They don't know where Way is, because it's actually going to be Care TPing in to deny this first tower bot.
Yeah, Guwon coming on in with the pillar. Care now going to focus on towards Meiko. He's going to have to flash back over the wall. But that is just the flash for the TP expended. As the dragon does spawn, Way still in the area. In fact, they're just camping out, waiting for Care. Dash forward from Awesome, getting some good damage on across. And feeling comfortable to be able to start off the dragon based on that. Rookie now locking on down Fengyue. Gets about half of his HP as well. And NIP, they're just going to need to pull the trigger soon because they're getting chunked away bit by bit, piece by IG every time they try to move into this river. They do get onto the dragon now. Way a little bit pushed off as Awesome is still on the bottom side. And they are not calling TheShy for this, so it is a 5 versus 4 on the bottom side of the map. NIP will secure dragon number 2. Now looking for a potential fight. Pillar going to be cut off here. Dive on in. Quickness connects onto 2. It's Meiko sectioned off, and Care will claim the kill.
That's it. This is what we want to see from NIP. Slow, controlled play. They had TheShy TP in topside, and they leveraged that information to send Hoya downriver. He sacrifices a good amount of gold, but it is enough to secure them the first 2 dragons. Having the numbers advantage, IG don't want to risk their luck, even with how strong Awesome is. He is not an extra champion's worth of strength in his own just yet. He is kind of fishing to bully Photic once again.
Opening up with the Cullen, getting Photic out of there, dashing forward, gets out the Feather Storm. And again, Photic is just going to end up losing out on more farm as he's forced to leave the lane yet again.
Ooh, hold on
a little bit of a jungler versus jungler fight. Care going to look to make it unfair. Meiko trying to guide Way out of here. Fengyue coming in on the side. Awesome arrives to be able to back up his team. Nice miasma there, going to guarantee multiple Twin Fangs on the way. Guwon does get handed that Scuttle Crown.
Indirectly, it also benefits Photic because he gets to eat the wave under tower that he was otherwise going to be threatened with a dive if he stayed to take. So 2 wins for NIP, and despite IG having a 3k gold lead, still feels like NIP can seize their moments when the game is available, and they are taking that time to go for those patient series of play, burn the IG cooldowns, and then leverage their stack comp to play against IG, who really would prefer to be tearing them apart across the map rather than all as a 5v5. At least until TheShy gets involved, then it might change.
Sure. Dash forward from Awesome. They're going to take control over the mid lane for the time being. And, you know, the thing about these fights is, while they do have a good gold lead onto Awesome, there's not really a lot of, you know, easy engage lockdown tools for IG. Yes, they can, of course, pop Paranoia, but it's not going to stop somebody from kiting back, especially some of these good disengage champions drafted by NIP. So when you can't really take odd-numbered fights, it's not really an option for IG. If they're outnumbered, it's very tough to execute on these team fights, even from a gold advantage.
Once Wei picks up the Stride Breaker, then it'll be a bit different. He can at least fly in and apply that mass slow, forcing people to fight or die for the NIP and mobile carries. But until then, it does give a lot of leg room for NIP to look for plays as Hoya, waddling around mid lane, walking up to this Herald, once again leveraging numbers in their favor.
Yep. So this time TheShy is walking up here. He's going to be able to get here presumably in time for there to be some action around this Rift Herald. Here comes Rookie from the top side, culling opened up, not really finding marks on towards NIP, but they're going to try to trade on the Hoya anyway. Paranoia is popped as TheShy starts the fight forward, dives in onto 3, and he'll get plenty of damage off it, flashes forward, doesn't stack up the passive in time though. TheShy falls down, Wei goes in the same direction, and the damage is just not quite enough to be able to take down the NIP members. Blinking health bars across the board, but nobody actually falls. NIP 2 for 0.
I'd be very happy off the back of that one, not only winning the fight, but also burning some important cooldowns. Like, TheShy not having flash really threatens one of the few potential engage tools that this IG roster has. And it was a sliver of HP as they all fully dive onto Hoya, who just kites away with the Olaf ult, an abstract technique, but it does work. Photic with a massive blade caller, saved by Fengyue on the probably single-digit HP by the end of it, is enough. NIP, though, will not get to take this purple objective. They will, however, get to hit this bot lane tower and be set up for the dragon in 40 seconds. As soon as we get that scoreboard, I want to do a little quick check-up on the summoners and the ultimates and all that kind of stuff, as there's going to be a lot of chaos. We don't have Xayah summons, we don't have the flash for the Zehen. We do have TP for both of the top laners, you know, Ghost on Rookie and some slight item advancements, but nothing too significant beyond the fact that Awesome is 2 items strong on this Lucian right now.
Yeah, critically, that was flash force off of Photic as well in that last play. Care still has his. We'll see if that is enough to dissuade NIP from this dragon. Doesn't look like it, as Care is TPing right back over to make sure that they will be here to attempt dragon number 3.
Barely picks up that second item and gives him a slight bit of mobility to fight away if possible.
Anyway, dives and gets the double knockup. Also going to be forced to flash backwards, and just like that, the flashes on the AD carries are equalized. TP over from TheShy. Round 2, looking to get this fight started, this time with the big teleport shield. Pulls back in Hoya to start to poke away with a little bit of damage, and should have that ultimate back available before too long. Rift Herald getting involved this time as well. Charging through the team. Gets multiple knockups. Flash over the wall from Rookie. Hoya going to be the first one to fall in the fight. Petrifying Gaze. Found Awesome, though, and will be able to claim that big shutdown for the Cassiopeia. But look at TheShy. Passage stacked up. Stepping up into action. Rookie keeping the rest of the team sectioned off on the opposite side. They'll finally be able to work their way through Care. Down goes Photic to Rookie in the 2 versus 1. And IG are able to take the fight home, and they're looking for the full ace. Realm Warp to chase down Fengyue, but the blast cones are enough for him to stay alive.
And it will not be a full ace, but it might as well be not only getting the dragon, but a lot of gold injected back into the team. It's now a 4k gold lead before they've even had time to play around with turrets. And keep an eye on Hoya in this fight, because he's just getting beaten down by TheShy, and with that Zehen passive stacking up, You are on a clock here. If he gets to the full bar, there's no way you're winning a fight. And he basically just gets in the Herald and immediately tells Hoya, if you don't go forward, I'm running you over and I am jumping out to kill you. So he commits onto the backline. The Olaf's not able to get it done. Care nearly able to get some big work done, but tries to avoid the bolt of TheShy's ultimate. And while he knocks him into the passive, it's not enough to be able to finish up the fight, while Photic is just getting torn apart by Rookie. The solo laners of IG really running that fight.
And guess who it is? It's TheShy and Rookie, able to show up once again in a big team fight. Awesome ends up falling on down, but you can lean back on these two, one of the most historic duos in LPL history, to pop off in the team fights. And now looking for one of them right now. Way gonna dive in to help out TheShy, give a little bit of additional gold on himself, and finish off Hoya.
Really liking the look of this Zehen into Olaf matchup thus far, as Photic barely gets to walk away with HP. At the end of that, they will lose the mid lane tier 2, and it's looking like it's going to be an IG blowout in this series. Top of Nirvana going to be taken single-handedly by them. I know the game's not over yet, but this would be massive because it would equalize the game score if IG win this 2-0. Which is going to be so impactful for getting that top spot of the two.
Oh, awesome. Going to be the target here. Quickness on through, and Care finds him for the second fight in a row, and this time it's not going to be just awesome. Way falls as well. A double kill to Care as NIP leaning on their mid laner, needing him to make a play. He does it again.
And that's why I had so many ifs, buts, and whatnots in that statement, because as we saw in Game 1, these two love to take it to the last moment, as we will now get a Baron being burnt down. It's a 3-member contest, but no smite for IG.
To get in onto this Baron. Baron down below 3k HP now. TheShy stepping up, but there is no smite available for IG. Gets in there with the Grim Deliverance. TheShy wants the fight. Immediately has to flash back out. He's going to be able to walk through Hoya on his way there. The Rookie trying to get in there. Can't find the damage. He falls to Care. That's 8 kills on this Cassiopeia. And IG scramble after losing their jungler and marksman.
And 2,000 gold just got snapped off of the lead with only 2 minutes before the Dragon. NIP will have 5 Baron buffs to play with. They can opt to play across the map right now and lean into getting some of that standing gold, or they could just opt for ending with a Dragon soul point, as Guwon goes to the wall to pick up Fengyue, and that is enough to get the access onto the ADC, and it's just a walk down. Like, Care on this Cassiopeia is so strong. 8-2 with a 3k gold lead at this point in the pocket. That is a Rylai's, which is devastating against the IG champions. And the fact that he can rocket belt forward after you and apply Rylai's to everybody just means if this Cassio wants to fight, you don't get to say no.
Yeah, no, the Cassiopeia definitely going to need to be a priority issue for IG to deal with in these upcoming fights. He's scaled up so much, has cleaned up so many kills in multiple fights now that he is just as far ahead of his counterpart as Awesome is.
Okay, the Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. NIP playing patient, and IG saying, alright, fine, we know what we are. We are not a team comp that wants to fight you in the big skirmish unless we are super ahead. Opting to drag NIP across the map, and I think they may have just bought themselves enough time. Care has TP, but having your strongest member nowhere near the fight gives angles like this for Awesome and Co.
Fengyue leading the charge there, as is Wise with his passive shield. Loses it, plus some health to a face check onto Awesome, but better him than Photic. TP in towards mid. Care wants to make sure he's ready for this fight. Rookie already showed up a couple minutes prior, and he's going to be able to find the lockdown on the Fengyue. Gets a little bit of early damage. TheShy up in the front line, looking for the big Grim Deliverance across the entire team. Will be able to get it. Stacks up the passive immediately. Doesn't quite get the full bar, though, and Care will take him down. But Rookie's still sitting here at full HP, pumping damage into Guwon. Fengyue going to try to dive onto him. Rookie able to stay alive and dive back away with the blast cone. Way going to stay alive with the sliver as well, but Care is on the hunt. Care is where all of the damage sits. Hoya was able to take down Way. That means there's no smite available for IG. A realm more about for Rookie, but that's just going to be keeping him alive. It's not going to mean anything in terms of an IG victory. They take the fight. NIP 2 for 0.
They still haven't got to that Dragon Pit, though, and Care base for HP.
Whoa! Fengyue stepping up maybe a little bit farther, takes a fair bit of damage off the back of that Rune Prison, but once again, they just can't finish their targets. They have 2 carries. Here comes Care! Flash forward with the miasma, locks down, awesome! Down goes the support as well. NIP get 2 more from their 2 earlier, and Rookie gonna get run down. This is gonna be an unofficial ace, because TheShy's already respawned.
Oh, it's incredible. NIP plays so slowly and just wait. They know that IG wants to go for a trap play here. Hold on.
Oh, not slowing down, though. Getting right back in there, but the Petrifying Gaze quickness combo is absolutely massive. TheShy, Grim Deliverance in once again. This time he stacks up the passive, and he takes down Photic. But once he reses back up, he's going to be stuck in a 1 versus 1 with Care, and he cannot win that one. Pulls him back on in with the dreaded return. Care underneath the turret, hunting for an extra kill. It's going to be 12 total to Care in this game.
Hello, Venomous over here. That is a terrifying Cassio. Already got the Seekers. Going to be able to pick up a full Medjai's off the base on this one. I must say, I hope we get a replay of the first part of that multi-layered fight, because Care had such threat recognition. He was basically going around like a turret in a circle, having to chase 5 different people at once, because he fully understands he is the guy with the Goldie. He is the only one that can kill these people if they are around him. But it's just IG leveraging right now. They're trying to get some pressure around the Baron, look for a pick. They don't know that any moment now that snake can pop out and jump at them.
Yeah, you know, they're starting these fights on okay terms. They're getting some chunks down, but A, they're not being able to finish the kills out of the tankier members, and B, they're not getting out of Care. Care is a huge problem in this game, and is positioning just so well. We talked about the lack of lockdown there. All you could do is paranoia onto her, but if you're diving past 4 members to do it, you're not going to get the backup of your team.
Also, opting for the Black Cleaver here, instead of having the Stride Breaker, I think it's just not good. I know that you are trying to shred the resistances for TheShy and Awesome to go in and clear up the fight, but I mean, we can see it. Care is so incredibly mobile, not just off the back of the Proto Belt, but he is also just really quick, having the Enchanted Shoes and also having the 10-stat Medjai's now. This Cassio, she's nigh untouchable for IG, and she is the only person you need to kill if you are looking to win a fight, but she is the hardest person to kill, because NIP do one thing very well, and that is play a slow game with Care at the center of it.
And this is the battle for first place in Group Nirvana that we were hoping for. Game number 1, NIP take the early lead, IG able to pull it back. And the reverse story so far in this game number 2. Awesome cut off with a really well-placed pillar from Guwon. They can't quite chase him all the way down still. A nail biter here as NIP continue to look for what might be the final nail.
Okay, going for Uncle Rookie.
Pops, they dive forward. Rookie locked down, doesn't have anywhere to go without that flash, but he's able to stay alive and actually returns fire quite effectively on a Fengyue. Paranoia Pop not going to be taken in by Wei. Just trying to disengage the fight, and they will successfully do just that.
And NIP have some ugly-looking side lanes that they need to clear up. And so IG see this on the map. They know if we could just keep them here, we're eventually going to start ticking up gold on the side, opening up opportunities for us to use this Realm Warp and this Zehen TP to leverage potential inhibs. Now Baron on the table still, also being hunted.
Another pillar onto Awesome, has to walk out through the miasma, does get away. Petrifying Gaze, swing and a miss from Care. And now will they look for the fight on the backside? Wei going to get exhausted, he flashes back away, does manage to avoid the CC. Cut off by another beautiful pillar from Guwon, and that'll be enough for Care to take the first kill of the fight. Quickness dives forward, gets on a Rookie. Rookie now stuck in melee range with both carries, no chance to be able to fight that one out. TheShy is sent to the resurrection, but Care is moving through member after member, twin bang after twin bang. A triple kill to him already, make it a quadra kill. Can they hunt down the Penta? Hoya is gonna have to hold down Meiko, but he is going to be able to do that, no problem. A pentakill to Care.
Did you know you can fit the entirety of Invictus Gaming into Care's stomach on this Cassio? Because they are one hungry, hungry snake.
Oh boy, 4th pentakill of the game, 2nd pentakill of the day. What are the mid laners eating today, other than enemy teams?
Wow, Care is having an amazing game, and look at his inventory. I have no idea what the heck he's going to do with that gold. He can upgrade a Zhonya's, but unless he sells something for Rabadons, I don't know. He's basically as strong as he's going to be getting, as it's just such a gradual approach, and as soon as Wei is out of position, that flash comes down, he's not able to get over a wall, and NIP continue to chase. And then Fengyue makes it so, using the alley-oop with Care, slamming Rookie back into his own team, with the blast cone. It's just absolutely beautiful. This is where NIP do their best work. And now they're sieging, but with 20 seconds, the Infernal Soul will be on the table. So if they're not breaking the base, they will be picking that up and adding even more scaling damage to the 25 Magi stat. Cassio in the room.
Doesn't get any stronger than this, Melvin, and the Care going to show you just how strong that is. Awesome, take it down to a sliver from just a couple of Twin Fangs. Care slithering through these team fights with ease. NIP not going to take any unnecessary risks as the wave gets cleared out. They just move right over to bottom lane. Guwon scooting on the back foot with a little bit of a lower health bar, but an 8,000 gold lead now built up for NIP.
And Care is 6.6k of it. I haven't seen a gold lead like that in a very long time. Absolutely eclipsing Rookie as they go for the final fight.
Stepping forward, Care taking to about half early on, but they can get the front to back. That might be just what they need to be able to close out the game. Awesome with a big culling across the team. Photic now stuck in the front line. Grim Deliverance comes across the team. TheShy, once again, going to be able to stack up the passive, trying to make the fight, but he's going to get taken down. Awesome, torn apart by Hoya. So is Rookie. There go both carries. Doesn't matter if Photic and Care are being held back by TheShy, because Hoya will sub in and he'll do what Olaf does best. Takes down the carries in the back line. NIP with a comeback in game number 2, going to take this series the full distance.
Oh, thank goodness. That is just incredible to see. And Photic with a slow early game, awesome having the better number, really does come alive in that last fight right there to draw TheShy in, lock him down, and remove the only threat to NIP's win condition at that point. Just an incredible performance. We don't need to waste time talking about MVP. Care's getting it. Job's done. Signed, sealed. Give it 8 out of 8 on the votes. Doesn't need to be said more on that.
For sure. You know, it was quieter for him for some of the earlier game, especially when IG were able to get some of those fights in their favor. But eventually, you know, just cleans up quite a bit on back-to-back fights. And from that position on, is strong enough that they can't really threaten onto him. That lack of lockdown we talked about in the earlier stages ended up making a huge difference, because at a certain point, your assassination potential on the Nocturne is not there. Your Zehen can't actually dive that far, and there's no way to reach the Cassiopeia. Just absolutely monstrous here. Rookie with the self-counter pick on the Rise. I mean, I know the Rise is a super valuable pick. It's prized for many, many reasons. Its laning capability is not necessarily one of them, but the Cassiopeia is just so effective there that you gotta feel a little bit bad about how that Rise pick ended up serving you.
Very few impactful Realm Warps that game. Rookie just not getting across the map with Wei. It had to be those two taking their presence to these side lanes. But by the point where they actually had a lead to take the side lanes, it was just NIP in a clump for the majority of the game. And Care pumping out 47,000k. That's a big number. That's a lot of damage from just one person. Far ahead of the Lucian, who, mind you, had been absolutely blasting NIP for the majority of this game. About 20 minutes of this game was the awesome show of just absolutely gunning down Photic whenever he walked to a lane, not having any opportunity to play these fights. But as he said, you can see exactly at that 25, 23-ish minute point where NIP started to take control, and it was Care leading the charge.
Yeah, if you zoom in really close on that gold graph, right at the peak of IG, right where it starts to go down, that's right when Roa pops for Care. From that point on, he just never lets go. Really, really strong performance in team fight after team fight. You're going to watch it in the vast majority of these highlights here. And Yeah, the highlight's starting already pretty deep into the game here. I think this is the last semi-competent fight we got to see out of IG. There's just not many opportunities left after this one. Rookie and TheShy keeping 3 down to the bottom side, splitting up the fight effectively. This is the last time that Care didn't actually manage to stay safe, but even then, he cashes out multiple kills in this fight that helped to propel him into the position he was in later.
I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure I cast a curse to the game by saying that IG should be looking to get this clean 2-0. That was probably just about when that happened. Because it would have been really significant if they were able to take this as a 2-0, because now, even if IG win, NIP still will be walking away with a game score advantage. Now, obviously, they'll be down in the head-to-head, but that means by the time we get to that second round robin and these two teams face off as the last Nirvana series of the split in Week 5, who knows what the heck we'll be looking at by then. We got a whole different Weibo that we're going to have to compete with for these two teams. But taking it back down to just this series, we've got to a 1-1. We don't know who's walking away with the win here. But I think from what we've seen, it's quite safe to say it's not going to be a decisive Game 3. I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, let's not get too carried away with our early 2 to 3K gold advantages. You know, those...
I think it was 5.
These correlate, those correlate really heavily with game wins, but maybe not in this series, at least not from what we've seen so far. Here's the Care pentakill. Shout out to him. Always awesome to get one of those in the career accolades. You know, love to have a pentakill on your wiki page if you can get one. Doesn't happen for every player, even in the carry positions, and it's going to be only our 4th penta this split here in the LPL, but somehow also our 2nd of the night.
It's a good day. I'm looking forward to Series 3 off the back of that one as well. Maybe we can get 3 in a day and just absolutely go numbers. Maybe this is the change, finally, where we see some more pop-offs. I was going to say pop-offs from ADCs, but it's been mid lane both times around today, so...
Yeah. Not an asterisk on this one either, right? You know, there's some champions, and I think the Lock is in that category where they get a pentakill and you're like, did they really though? Like the Zeri,
were there
the
5
Smolder
HP people?
Yeah, Zeri, Smolder, in that category. Yeah, you know, anybody that has reset executes or anything like that, you definitely are going to be maybe putting an asterisk on. Care. He didn't do any of that. He got it fair and square on the Cassiopeia. You can't take that one away from him.
Most definitely not. And another thing you can't take away is the fact that this is now match point for both of these teams, as the least surprising MVP shows up on our screen. We had a lot of contention about who would get it last time around. This time, it was not close.
Well, and here's a theory for you, Melvin. NIP versus LNG, game number 1. Care Cassiopeia, player of the game.
Yep.
NIP versus Weibo, game number 1. Care Cassiopeia, player of the game. He's 3 for 3 now. Maybe just stop giving Care the Cassiopeia. Maybe the B1 Cassiopeia strat for NIP is just unbeatable, and this pick needs to get respected a little bit more.
I mean, between giving Rookie Orianna in Game 1 and giving Care Cassiopeia in Game 2, I think that Nirvana has a lot to learn when it comes to just, for God's sake, be respectful of people's, like, most disgusting champion in the pocket. Let's you know, Game 3, neither of them. So, that's it. And most of the scary ADC threat, that Zyra Khan combo from Photic and Fengyue, it gets the win, but not necessarily in the fashion they would have liked to see. And with Lucian Milio off the table as well. Very curious to see where we end up going. Will we see a Sivir Ezreal show up again, or will that be knocked out in the bans again for Game 3?
Well, somebody pick the Ziggs if we keep leaving it up. That's the other question. We'll keep our eyes on it. No, you don't want me to curse it like that? All right. Well, we'll find out when we get back from this break. We are going to take a couple of minutes before we get into the draft for game number 3, but we will see everybody on the other side as Invictus Gaming versus Ninjas in Pyjamas goes to game number 3.